etc., etc., etc. Okay, the genesis of this video is a conversation I was having at the Everyday Carry community with Florida Woods Bum and the Montana Fat Boy. Mainly it concerned two things. Number one, which is better for paraffin projects, a mug warmer slash hot plate type setup. I guess it's technically a mug warmer, it's not really a hot plate since you can't cook on it. But it was either that or a double boiler. Now I've used a improvised double boiler because my wife will not let me use a real double boiler in her kitchen. But I found it's much easier to use the mug warmer just because it keeps the paraffin at a good temperature. It can run forever, you don't have to tend to it. And not that you should leave it on indefinitely, but you know, while you're working, you can leave it on, you can leave it on indefinitely. And the other topic was, how long do you need to dip something, specifically jute twine, into liquid paraffin before it's become saturated enough to offer protection? And the Florida Woods Bum likes to tie his jute twine around the sheath of the knife. So, and he said, if I remember correctly, he said that he was leaving it in the boiling paraffin for up to 3 hours to get full saturation. I argued that you probably only need to do it for like 30 seconds. It's plenty of protection. So yeah, what follows is just me horsing around with that stuff to see like what really works, what doesn't. Now I don't usually use the jute twine as a fire starter. I use other things, right? So it was interesting to see. And I happen to be at work at the moment, so this is not a wall in my house that's this dirty. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's pretty grungy, but we're like a grungy bunch. So yeah, you know, I don't want you people thinking I live in a pigsty. Not that anybody cares. Why am I even like discussing this stupid crap? All right, so preemptively like to say thank you for watching this. If you managed to stay all the way to the end, I hope you find it entertaining, informative, etc., etc., etc. All right, Florida Woods Bum, Montana Fat Boy, this video is for you boys. All right, this is a $10 Mr. Coffee mug warmer. I use it when I'm doing DIY projects, or mancrafts, as my wife likes to call them, mainly to keep paraffin melted for a long period of time. Why do you need to have paraffin or wax melted for long periods of time? Well, if you like to use makeup pads for fire starters, you know, you dip them in quick with the wax, keep some of it just cottony so you can fluff it up. That's a good fire starter. Sometimes you can make homemade quote-unquote storm-proof matches. This is a Weber fire cube that's been coated in wax just to keep it airtight, sort of. But anyway, I just use like some kind of old can or whatever. After I melt it first on another stove, like you're going to see in an upcoming clip, but then just leave it on there and it keeps it just the right temperature. The Florida Woods Bum feels that he gets the best results with using a double boiler and letting this sit in there for a while the wax is boiling. This was in there for about 3 hours yesterday. I'm going to cut it in half, which is not how I would take it apart. I mean, I would unravel it out in the field if I was going to use it. But just to see how far it penetrated into the ball of jute twine, we're going to just cut it straight up in half. Seems like it penetrated pretty far. Definitely seems like there's, you know, that's not just jute twine, that's got real wax on there. So I think that's pretty interesting, right? I'm gonna go get a lighter, and I'm also going to grab a fire steel. So hang on a second, let's see if this stuff will light. There's a little bit of a breeze here. So Let's see if we get this lit. Oop. Like I said, there's a little bit of a breeze, not ideal conditions for this kind of test. Now I used old candle wax for paraffin instead of nice clean new paraffin from the craft store. Sometimes I use the new stuff, but so this might smoke a little. But yeah, it's alright, burning a long time, couple little strands. They're only like 1.5 inches long maybe when I start it. That is definitely not the best job of fluffing it. Seemed like it worked just fine, huh? We'll fire this up. There we go. My soup can on there. And I'm going to melt my wax. Alright, I'm going to just use this stove to heat this wax up quick. And then to keep it in a liquid state, I'm going to put it on my $10 Mr. Coffee. I want to say my wife picked this up for me a long time ago for this very purpose, since I don't drink coffee and whatever. Okay, but just takes like, 60, 90 seconds to liquefy that. I do it this way because if you leave it on here, eventually the wax will melt down into a liquid state, but it takes forever. Now, why do it this way when I'm doing out here instead of using your wife's double boiler? Well, the answer's in the question, right? You don't want to do this with your wife's double boiler. Things go wrong, wax gets spilled, and the next thing you know, no fondue, right? You don't want to be on the poo list. Once I get this wax liquefied, I'm going to make some more of these wax balls and wax string, because after further discussion with Florida Woods Bum, after my last video, which will be actually the first part of this video since I never actually published it, we're going to see if the jute twine will take the wax in a relatively short manner, right? Just in and out, basically 5 seconds maybe. Alright, we're looking good there. Turn this off. Work like a champ, like it always does. Okay, so the Florida Woods Bum likes to run his jute twine after it's waxed in a fashion similar to this on his knife. He was under the impression that you really had to boil it to get the wax to get all the way through the jute twine. He was using a double boiler, and I suggested that using the Mr. Coffee hot plate or something similar was a much easier, safer way to do it without, messing up any expensive cookware. My experience has been that you don't have to really keep it in the melted paraffin for too long. Alright, so let's check it out. Okay, let's just dip it down in there. Okay, you guys see it? Sorry for reaching in front of you guys. Just stick it down in this yogurt cup. Let it dry for a minute, and we'll see what's up. Right, that was only in there for a few seconds. I think we'll be good to go. Okay, it's been a couple minutes. The wax is for the most part dried, I believe. Let's just snip a little piece open. And see if the I don't know, I think it's pretty well waxed all the way through. Let's go see if we can light this with my new favorite fire steel. It's not completely dry. I can still, even down in here, I can feel it, the waxiness of it. Now, it's a little windy too. It's not ideal. That almost caught, right? Yep. There she goes. So yeah, FWB, I think you're wasting time with the double boiler. It's a lot of work, right? This is so much simpler, faster. I mean, the entire filming of this took maybe 5 minutes. You know, kids, that's not the proper way to put out a fire. Anyway. As always, never do what I do. Alright. So yeah, my personal opinion is that that hot plate is the best way to go with wax, paraffin, DIY projects, whether you're dipping makeup pads in there, cotton balls, jute twine, those little Weber fire cubes. You know, I think it's best to just use the you know, melt the wax quick on something and then just put it on the hot plate. But your mileage may vary. So here's some jute twine that was waxed. Here's a piece of the loose jute twine that you're just going to see me dip in for like 5-10 seconds and pull out. This side is waxed. This side that's all pulled apart already isn't. Going to see how much protection a few seconds in the melted paraffin helps. We're going to leave it in here. We're going to transfer all this stuff outside, and we're going to see if any of it will still burn. Okay, I'm outside now. This has been in the water probably a minute or so. Let's see if we can get it to light. Now, obviously, the part that's pulled apart already is the side that wasn't coated with wax. Okay, so that didn't really want to light, right? Let's try to dry it off a little. See if that helps. Alright, so no luck with that. This is the waxed part. Let's see if the this will burn. Alright. Wax part definitely is burning. Alright, so there you go. I think definitely putting it in the wax protected it enough to get it lit after being submerged in water for a minute or so. I think the way Florida Woods Bum has it tied around his sheath, and it's, you know, you're out in the rain with it, I think you would totally be able to get it lit. I don't know if you'd be able to get it lit necessarily or very easily with a fire steel, but definitely if you have a lighter, I think you can definitely still use it as tinder after it's been moistened. Yeah, so I just like to say that every time I do one of these silly tests with fire starters, stoves, or anything like that, I'm always wishing Hiram was still around. I don't know where he is, but I hope he's alive and well, and he's just bored with YouTube. Man, I miss seeing that guy's videos.